Hi, Prosperity Team. It's Dr. Money. What I want to say every time, I'm coming to you from the Prosperity Corner of the Universe, and every time I start a video, I want to say, yo. And the reason I want to say yo is because I've just finished a series of audiobooks, and there was a young man on there that was a star that was always going, yo, yo. And that just shows me how much we are impacted with the things that we read, hear, and see. And if we want to, we don't necessarily have to cut things out if we really, really love things. However, it would be good to feed ourselves with some prosperity information. Read books about prosperity. Read books about miraculous stories about how people came through tough times. I was reading I was writing an article which included some stuff about Norman Vincent Peale, and when he came out with his book in 1952, The Power of Positive Thinking, it was not very well received by the critics, and health professionals thought it was like humbug, but the people liked the book, and so it sold. But if he had just said, oh no, I'm not really that good of a writer, well, we wouldn't have had all the books that Norman Vincent Peale wrote. A question that we can ask ourselves, I think, to bring a more prosperity consciousness into our lives is just, with the thoughts that I'm having right now, am I moving prosperity forward or prosperity backwards? If I'm moving prosperity forward, then I'm seeing the possibilities. I'm beginning to move into the enthusiasm of life that is present right now. But if I'm moving prosperity backward, then I'm closing my mind, that I'm telling myself that I can never make it happen, that I'm telling myself it'll never happen for me, that I'm blocking myself. And we all have the power to move prosperity forward. And so the question that we can ask ourselves, am I going prosperity forward or prosperity backward? Because it really is important to go prosperity forward. Here's a thought. From this moment, once we look at our mind and we determine that maybe we're going prosperity backwards in terms of our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions, then we can try this affirmation. From this moment forward, I'm moving in the direction of my prosperity. From this moment forward, I'm moving in the direction of my prosperity. So what happens if we forget? We just don't go back again and just say, from this moment forward, I'm looking in the direction of my prosperity. Now that I know that there are people that can't pay bills and have very difficult financial times, and I believe that there are answers in the air, that the universe is infinite, and our minds can get very small and upset, especially when we're afraid. And when we're afraid, then the information can't come in. And that's why I'm always asking questions to the universe. For example, when I'm talking before I talk on the Dr. Money thing, I'll say, look, I'm going to be here. If there's anything you need to come through, anything needs to be said, is there anything anyone needs to hear, then let me say it. And maybe I do, maybe I don't know. But I believe that when we stay in contact with the infinite, it filters ideas to us. Now, it also filters ideas to us in a way that we can understand them and apply them. If I didn't have any money, it would be crazy. So, you should, why don't you buy 100 shares of Apple stock? It's going to go up and that'll really help you out. Well, of course, the universe wouldn't say that because I wouldn't have the ability to buy. If I couldn't pay my bills, I wouldn't have the ability to buy 100 shares of Apple stock. I'm saying that the universe sends us information in a way that we can use it. It gives us a hunch, call somebody. Or it might just say, stay still and breathe. But we're not alone. And as long as we believe we're alone, and that we're just limited to the ideas that we have in this little teeny thing called our brain and this little teeny thing called our body, we can get in trouble. We're not even the body. If we had the ability to see, it's like we're like a rainbow. You know how a rainbow is? A rainbow, you got red and it goes into orange, but you can't tell where the red and the orange go. Well, this is how we are. If we could see with our non-physical eyes, our third eye, what we would see about our body is that our body is not limited. Like this body, this is the physical body, but there's an astral body. So I'm like a rainbow, and I just move out. There's this, and then there's more, and then there's more, and then there's more, and I keep reaching out. Studies have shown actually that when you attach these probes from your brain or from your head over to a rock or so forth, and you think thoughts, that they can measure these reactions from the rocks and the plants that are in the surrounding area up to 50 feet away. But we're not only we're sending our thoughts out all the time, our energy our energetic body just keeps moving out into the infinite. So maybe it's more focused right here, but it's joined in this flowing continuum of all that is. And when we limit ourselves to just what we think this body is, that I can only get this information and I can only work this body, then we're based in fear. Because this is the separation consciousness. This is consciousness of lack. But when we begin to identify with all the levels and layers and essences and the movement we are out as this vibrational nature, then we can know that we're not alone and that we're constantly getting ideas and we're in this big flow. We often think that we are the, that we're the flow maker in our lives, but we're in a huge flow of life in which we are part of a great continuum. And the more we identify with that, the easier it is, and the easier it is just in everyday life. The easier it is, so that we don't have to effort so much. And when I say effort, it doesn't mean work. I mean suffer. When I say effort, I mean suffer. So here's the question. Am I moving prosperity forward or prosperity backwards? And what do I identify with? Do I identify with my body, or do I identify with this continuum of intelligence that is always sending answers to me? You got a problem? There's an answer. The answer was already created before your problem came. Just sit still, rest, listen, act. If there's something to do, do it. If you don't hear anything to do, just be still. The universe operates on our behalf. Always. Always, always. Always has, always will. So this is Dr. Money. Let's take a few deep breaths. You know what those breaths are about? They enter us into the circle of well-being. And as we breathe in our good. And as we breathe out the good for all people. Our intention that all people be happy, that all people be blessed and abundant, breathing in and receiving that, and breathing out and giving it. And in addition to that, there's one thing I want you to remember for sure, and that is that I love you.